Hello, my name is Lindsay Elliott from lindsayelliott.co.uk, and I'm a wellbeing and resilience coach. And I wanted to come on today just to talk, not for very long, about how the mind works, what we can do when we've got a really busy mind, and which is less than we think. And yeah, just to really help illustrate about how our experience is created. And I'm going to use this little snow globe as a visual metaphor. So as human beings, what separates us from maybe other animal life on the earth is that we have consciousness, and that we have thoughts, and we have thinking, and we are also able to be aware of what we are thinking. So we have thought energy coming through into our mind, into our brain all day long, every day, every single second there is a thought passing through. So it's estimated that we have anywhere between 60,000 and 100,000 different thoughts every day, which is quite a lot of thinking going on. And that includes our conscious thinking, so things that we're aware of, and also our unconscious thinking, which is thoughts that we're not aware of. So this is a beautiful gift that we have as human beings, because it allows us to create an experience of life. It gives us our experience of life. So according to whatever we're thinking about something will be our experience of it. Thought energy also brings feeling and emotion with it. So if we're having stressful thinking, busy mind thinking, we will have a stressful and busy experience of our day. Whereas if our mind happens to be a bit more peaceful and we're in a good place, then the busyness of our day can feel very different to us. So it's all according to what's going on in our mind in the moment. So 100% of the time, our moment-to-moment thinking is creating our feelings and creating our experience of the outside world. So this truly is an amazing and wonderful gift that we have as human beings, this consciousness, this awareness, this ability to think and communicate. But also, I think it can trip us up quite a lot. So when we believe that we are our thinking, when we believe every single thought that runs through our minds, and when our minds get really shaken up. So if I shake up this snow globe just to illustrate that a lot of us, I think, walk around most of the day in this sort of shaken up state. So as you can see with the snows there, it's all kind of a bit cloudy. There's a lot going on. There's thousands of different thoughts going on. We're hooking onto one thought. It's passing through. We're hooking onto another thought. Then we might layer another thought on top of another thought that, oh, I don't like that thought. I wish this wasn't so stressful. Why do I think like this? So it can get a little bit chaotic in our minds sometimes, and can get a bit shaken up. And when we're in this busy mind state, it can look really real that we need something to help us in order for our mind to settle, in order for these feelings to go away, and for us to come back to that peaceful place within us, or even just a calmer state within us that I think we all invariably know is a place that feels a bit like home. So even if we're not consciously in touch with that place within us, I think unconsciously as human beings, we know that we're meant to feel good. We know we're meant to feel happy. We know we're meant to feel peaceful and love and compassion and kindness. So when we're in this shaken up state, quite naturally, we can think, well, even if it's in an unconscious way, I need to get back to that state of home that's within me. So when our mind is really shook up, when we're in stressful, busy thinking, or lots of anxious thinking, lots of worrying, thinking about the future, or ruminating about the past, the content of it doesn't really matter. It's more the flavour of it that is revved up, if you like, or really busy. It can look as though we need to do something in order to help ourselves to feel better. So that might be having a glass of wine. It might be looking on the internet. It might be buying something. It might be eating something. It might be, and those can sometimes be habits that we get into that are not so helpful. But it might also be things like going for a walk, calling a friend, or just changing our focus in some way, focusing on our breath. And whilst all of those things can be useful, and some, as I say, are more helpful than others or more healthful than others, I think what I found really powerful to know and to be able to witness within my own experience is that when my mind is doing this, and this is the same for all of us, when it's doing this, there isn't anything that I have to do. There isn't anything that I must do in order for it to begin to settle. The thing that helps it to settle for me is that when I notice, so the part of me that is the awareness starts to notice that my mind is getting really busy. And as I notice that it's getting really busy, I get a slight sense of separation between the thoughts that are running through my mind, that are bringing feeling with it. And as soon as I'm even in that small little spark or space of separation, the mind begins to settle. And as it begins to settle, maybe something in your wisdom may say to you, go for a walk, call a friend, do some meditation. Or it may just say, sit down for 5 minutes. Or it may be that you just feel home, back to clarity, back to peace, back to this clear space that's already within you. So the point that I want to make is that there isn't anything that we have to do, because this system of going through phases of being all shook up and then coming back down, our minds settling back down into a more peaceful or calm place, is a system that is inbuilt within us. So a bit like we have a immune system for our physical body. So if we cut ourselves or we catch a cold, our physical body immediately mounts a response to that. There isn't anything that we have to do about that. It's quite amazing. You know, we can just let our body get on with that, and it will do its very best to heal the cut or help us to get over the cold or virus or whatever we have. And I think the thing that we're often not taught is that actually we have a similar sort of psychological immune system. That the more that we can get out of our own way, the more that we can just notice when we're in this state. Sometimes that noticing is enough just to kick in the psychological immune system to help bring us back down into more clarity, more peace, and a space that feels more like home. So I'd like to invite you to see if you can notice this happening in your own life. That if you notice that when you're in a really busy mind, you're up in your head, you may feel very disconnected from your body. And just see if you can notice, I'm up in my head, I'm up in my thinking, my snow globe is super shaken up at the moment. And just see if you can mentally take a step back from that. So I'll give you an example that from my experience this morning. So my mind wanted to have a really good chat at me about doing this Facebook Live today. So I found myself just thinking all sorts of different thoughts about whether I was going to do it, what I was going to say, how it would go, and lots and lots of thinking about it. Because this, unfortunately, is what minds like to do. They like to think. They like to provide us with thought and with feeling and with experience. And I was caught up in it for a bit, and so I had all of the associated feelings that went along with that. And then at some point, my awareness kicked in, and I realised, I'm really up in my head about this. And actually, had I have sat down to do the Facebook Live in this state, it probably wouldn't have been as clear as I hope this is, now that I am in a more settled state. So if I tried to make any decisions about what I was going to say, or make a decision not to do it because I felt worried about it, or to put it off to another day when I was in this state, that wouldn't have been a great decision to make. Because when we know that we're up in our heads, our mind is full of snow, if you like, that's really never the best place to make a decision from. Sometimes we have to make decisions from that place, and that's okay too. But if we can just wait for the mind to settle, if we can just bring awareness, as I did, to, I'm up in my head about this. I'm not feeling the Facebook Live, I'm feeling my thinking about the Facebook Live. And once I knew that, that just settled me down, and I knew that the words that needed to come through me would come through me. Because that's the other thing I want to briefly talk about, is that but for the thinking that we are experiencing, we are naturally connected to, I suppose, the more spiritual side of ourselves. But if you don't like the word spiritual, you could just call it energy, or the sort of non-physical part of ourselves, which is naturally, innately, has intelligence, has wisdom, has love, is peaceful, is calm, knows what to do. That place within us, that home, if you like, it is always there. And it's only ever this going on that takes us away from it, of being able to directly experience it. And that's okay too, because that's part of the process of being human. We go up into our heads, we're in our thinking, and then we settle back down and we're into that deeper part of ourselves. So now that I know, I have a very felt sense of this being how life works and how my mind works, I rely on this all the time to notice when this is happening, and to know that but for what's going on in my mind, that place of peace, that place of innate resilience, well-being, happiness and health is always there within me. It doesn't go anywhere. It's only ever my mind that can take me away from that. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope it's been clear. I hope I've been speaking from a settled place as opposed to a shook up place. So if you'd like to explore any of this further with me, please do get in touch and reach out. If you've got any comments or questions, please post them here. I'd love to talk. I love talking about this. I love helping people with this. So yeah, and I really hope that next time you're feeling up in your head and feeling a bit unsettled, maybe the snow globe will come into your mind, and you'll know that there isn't anything that you have to do to settle that. You can rely on the fact 100% that your mind will settle on its own in time. It may not happen as quickly as your ego or personality would like it, but it will go back to clarity and it will go back to peace. And also, if your wisdom says go for a walk, watch Netflix, do something, then listen to that wisdom by all means. Okay, so enjoy the rest of your day, beautiful people, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.